I'm here on behalf of the Energy and Commerce Committee to speak in support of the closed rule for SJ Res 14, a joint resolution providing for congressional disapproval of EPA's 2020 methane rescission rule, which removed direct federal limits on methane pollution from new and modified oil and gas facilities. Addressing methane pollution is one of the most important immediate actions we can take to combat the climate crisis. That's because methane is a superpollutant, more potent and harmful than CO2 by quite a bit, and is responsible for about 25% of the man-made warming we experience today. The greatest opportunity to curb methane in the next decade is in the oil and gas sector. That's one reason why reinstating the 2016 methane rule is so important. So today I have three key messages for the committee. One, methane pollution is accelerating the pace of climate change and harming the health of our families and communities. Without bold action to curb emissions from new and existing sources in the oil and gas sector, methane pollution will continue to cause significant harm to public health, threaten the stability of our economy, and compromise the well-being of future generations. Second, the Obama administration's 2016 methane rule set reasonable standards to address this pollution. The 2020 Recission Rule dangerously and inexcusably abandoned that approach. Under the Clean Air Act, the EPA has an obligation to protect public health and welfare from dangerous climate pollution like methane. The 2016 methane rule required the oil and gas industry to take common sense steps like updating equipment and conducting frequent inspections to reduce methane pollution. The 2020 Rescission Rule abandoned that approach and established a rule that it increased methane emissions. Specifically, it eliminated methane standards across the entire oil and gas supply chain and revoked all federal air pollution limits for oil and gas transmission and storage facilities. Even more problematic, the Rescission Rule also purports to block EPA from ever controlling methane pollution from existing sources, which are responsible for the vast majority of the industry's pollution. Third, the 2020 Rescission Rule is a lose-lose-lose for climate, public health, and the industry. It should be disapproved by Congress. Enacting SJ Res 14 ensures that the 2020 Rescission Rule will have no force or effect, reinstates the methane pollution reduction requirements established under the Clean Air Act in 2016. Ambitiously addressing methane pollution can yield tremendous climate, public health, and financial benefits across the economy. It's why we see an outpouring of support from state and tribal officials, environmental and conservation groups, and many in the oil and gas industry itself in favor of this CRA. Simply put, this week, we in Congress can soundly reject one of the most irresponsible environmental rollbacks of the prior administration, maybe any administration, restore robust methane pollution standards, and clear a path for stronger protections in the future. The Senate passed this resolution of disapproval with bipartisan support on a vote of 52 to 42, and the President will sign the resolution into law once the House acts. If successful, this will be one of the most important climate actions of the last decade. It is our time to act. I thank the Rules Committee for bringing this important climate measure to the floor, and I look forward to answering any of your questions.
Thank you very much, Representative